But seeing her, right, represent a Karen of
Mhm.
loving Black culture but not Black people,
Right.
her daughter, I see those same things being passed on. Average viewer, they'll probably say Rose, she's innocent. But then
Right.
I'm like, she loves Friends,
Mhm.
but Living Single was first.
That's right.
So please break down for us why Friends was even created in the first place.
Well, yeah, Friends was created back in September 1994 as an answer to Living Single, which came out like August 93 the previous year. So we all know Living Single was a hit. We loved Living Single, Regime, Sinclair, all of
Mm-hmm.
them, Khadijah,
Yeah.
Maxine Shaw, attorney at
Yep.
law, Kyle Overton, like that was our
Yeah.
joint. And even though it was called Living Single, they still promoted Black love, Black
Mm-hmm.
unity. These women were living together, but they had two men. There's a man that owned the building,
Yep.
right? You know what I
Wow.
mean? And that was a handyman,
Mm-hmm.
who knew how to fix everything. He was from the South, from the
Yep.
country, wholesome dude. And anytime they was in trouble, they knew that they could depend upon these two men, to come down there and help them. And they ended up actually connecting with them. Maxine and Kyle got together. Overton and Sinclair got
Yeah.
together, so it was a lot of love, and they was just killing it. And then NBC put Friends together as an answer to it, and then also a lot of sabotage started happening behind the scenes to the show, and then the show ended up getting canceled after 5 seasons, while Friends continued on. And they went a full 10 years, so they got to run twice as long as Living Single did. But when you look at Living Single versus Friends, you're looking at symbolically, are you comfortable with yourself? Can you look in the mirror? We live in an era of socialism, right? Which is communism, right? And are you able to deal with who you are? Are you content with yourself and your spirit? Can you be to yourself? Can you be all right without having the stimulation of all these social medias and a bunch of people distracting you all the time?
Yeah.
Can you quiet yourself? Can you be still? Or do you need friends?
Yeah.
And if you need friends, are they real friends?
Do you need friends?
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because friends are supposed to be people that you connect with, that connect with you. And technically they're family. They're not even friends. But when you getting into likes, right? And friends and followers and everything, like you never meet. You might have 1 million followers. You haven't met 900,000 of them. You haven't met 999,000 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But yet, these are supposed to be people that you connected with, that are your friends, that like you and support you and everything like that. So we have this false sense of what friends even mean. It's as real as a sitcom.
Let that sit with you on that one. For sure. Man, it was a line in the film, and I'm not sure who said it, but if I had to guess, I think it was Clay. But someone has said that the silence is so loud, right?
Exactly.
I'm like, to your point,
That's it.
once the phones are gone, the TV, silence is just too painful.
Look, if you deal with women that are millennium women, these are women that are like in their late 20s, early 30s right now, right? They'll all agree with this, all right? Because I know. When they study, read, or have to do anything that requires focus, right? They need music or TV or something playing in the background.
Can't be quiet.
They cannot focus in quiet and in peace.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? They need noise.
Wow. I got noise right now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. This is how you know. This is real. You know what I'm saying? This is how it happens. They need that noise in the background.
That's crazy, man. And you can't make this up.
That's what you call the divine. You know what I'm saying? When you speak truth, it hit. Because I don't want no woman in the comments talking about, he don't know what he's talking about. I'll be like, all right.
It just happened.
Right. So why that, you know what I'm saying? Why that just went down like that?
It was made.
So they need that noise and everything up in the background. So a lot of people don't even know how to deal with peace or deal with silence, because what's going to happen? You're gonna hear yourself. And what are you gonna tell yourself? What are you doing? You need to get up. You need to get this done. You're wasting your time. Do this. Why aren't you working on this? This ain't you, blah, 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 blah. And you don't want to hear that because the recreation, the drugs, the drink, the TV, the social media, the places you got to go, they're all distractions from your purpose and who you're really supposed to be, you know? So I remember there was a scene where the emergency broadcast comes on and while everyone's asleep, because they kept panning the camera. It was real deep how they kept showing the camera work in this movie was fantastic. One of
turn sideways a lot too.
When Julia Roberts first got to the house and she walks in, I think I forget where Clay went. He was somewhere at the moment, but she walked in. This was right before she was going to go to the store. She goes up the steps and they got like a drone or something because how they caught that scene
of her walking
and
upstairs.
Then they phase out of the house and then they watch her as she's walking. That was a phenomenal shot. Then she laid on the bed and this is the bed where the calm waters were, right? They started out calm because everybody's relaxed in the moment, right? But one of the scenes where they panned the camera through the floors, where they would actually show in between the floors and everything, and they went downstairs. The emergency broadcast went from white noise to the a scene from the news finally coming through, and it showed an image of the states in red, white, and black, and there was a QR code on there, right? So this QR code, if you scan the QR code, a lot of people don't know if you could scan this QR code.
Hey, where does it take you to, KT?
The QR code takes you to Mercer County. And specifically to a old amusement park. And the people who own this land, their name was Clay. Yeah. The Mitchells. Specifically Clay Mitchell.
Serendipitous, man.
Right. So his name is Clay, right? So you read the story and the story replicates the film because it's about these Caucasian people, right? That ended up coming up on Indian land. And when we say Indian, you know, even when you look at Killers of the Flower Moon, you know, they're going to show a certain type of Indian, not knowing that we're Indians. We're indigenous people. We're the Aboriginals, you know. You got Indian in your family. Of course I got Indian. I am. Because I am. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But they talk about him coming on this land and the indigenous people that were already on the land was like, yo, what are you doing here? You can't just come and set up shop, bro. You got to go. Didn't listen. So ended up snatching his kids up, burnt one at the stake. So then he went and got his people and they came and they just massacred all the indigenous people and just took the land because he took it a kind of way because of what he did to his children. But I'm like, he told you to leave. You didn't leave off the land. Lord knows what else y'all did.
Warned you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was retaliation, and then you retaliate the retaliator, you know? So the land is haunted, you know? So the amusement park that they built, you know, a little girl died on the swings, a kid drowned, you know, and they have this thing called the Dark Festival there every October, which is the same month Matthew Perry died, Julia Roberts' birthday.
October 28th.
The trailer came out, right? Wow.
Something about that October.
And this is Scorpio energy. That's and Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke, Amanda and Clay are both Scorpios. Ooh. Yeah, it's all integrated.
Yo, listen, man, and we about to cook even more, KT. So that scene, right? Julia Roberts walking upstairs. Clay was actually downstairs cooking, which is actually crazy now thinking about that.
Yeah.
She's upstairs, getting settled in, chilling, and he's cooking. Now, it was a baseball game, KT. Who was playing? It was the Braves, and they were doing
the tomahawk chop. Now, I didn't even catch that one.
I was like, yo, nobody sees us, the Braves?
The Atlanta Braves.
He's in New York. Why is he watching the Braves game? And then the tomahawk happening.
The tomahawk chop.
So, to your point.
The indigenous people, Indian burial grounds, and also fascia. You know what I'm saying? Because of the axe, you know what I mean? The retaliation, letting the hammer drop. All of that is interesting. He's watching that though, but he's up there cutting it up. That's nothing against men cooking.
Of course,
but we got to look at this. We got to look at the dynamics of the film. You know what I'm saying? And he's up there cooking, and then she rewards him with a box of cigarettes, and then couldn't even get couldn't even get no play from his wife.
He did bring that up, and she walked away.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
She
I'm
patted
like,
him on the back.
Man,
you're right.
Y'all on vacation, bro.
You're right.
He cooking.
He's like, I'm trying to get the brownie points. Wow, I see what you're saying.
And then she walked off, and then she was like, all right, I'll give you 15 minutes. She put a time on it. She didn't say, I love you, baby. Come on, baby. Or you didn't. There was never a time you ever saw any type of intimacy between them. Another thing that was missing besides the intimacy was God.
Very interesting. You're right. Never brought up.
The only time God was mentioned was by Rose, because she told that story about the West Wing. Right?
Yep.
So she tells the story about a man that lives in a town.
Yeah.
And on the radio, he gets word that the river that he lives by, right, is going to flood and going to flood the town. So he prays to God and asks God to save him so that he does not die based on the flooding of this town. Protect him and keep him safe. So a boat comes after the flooding starts. He doesn't get on the boat. The people like, why you ain't getting on the boat? I prayed to God. God got me.
Yep.
Helicopter comes, we're gonna put the ladder down, come climb up the ladder. Nah, bro, I'm good because God got my back. I'm straight. So the town floods and he dies and he goes up to heaven. And my thing is, that's another part of the story. Why he went up to heaven? He didn't listen to God. That's another catch, right?
He didn't obey. Huh?
Right, he did not obey, right? So then he goes up. He goes up to heaven and talks to God. He's like, yo, I prayed to you. Why didn't you save me? He was like, yo, I put it on the radio.
That's right.
I sent the boat. I sent the helicopter. What else you want from me? And the mother was like, what did you get from that? And she's like, I'm tired of waiting. And that's the people that are tired of the naysayers. You know, you tell people you seeing signs, you seeing 11/11s, you having dreams, you noticing certain things. They're like, oh, you tripping. Oh, that's just conspiracy. Oh, you wasting your time. You know what I mean? You keep ignoring the signs. And it's like you need to really take heed to the warnings, and you also need to appreciate the signs that God provides and the divine provides and that your ancestors are providing to you, you know? And speaking of Rose, he had obey, she had NASA. So, you know, that's obey NASA. And, you know, NASA lies all the time. You know, we got the moon landings and Apollo landings and everything like that. If you look at the footage of the moon buggy, like it's a miniature and it's a toy on there. If you pull up the moon buggy driving around right now, you're gonna be like, this dude, he ain't even moving. He like this, bouncing up. It's a toy. And I'm looking at this module they got off. I'm like, where was the buggy on the module? Y'all pulled this whole giant Range Rover out this thing and constructed it. Where did the buggy come from? Where did y'all put the buggy when y'all left? I'm just real confused about a lot of that stuff.
How did you film it is my question in the 60s.
Right, that's the number one.
Let's start with the basics.
Where was the cameraman?
Where's the SD card?
You know what I'm saying? They sent the email to the dark side of the moon, and one of the moon people was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come through." You know what I'm saying? With the red camera, and I got y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Like, say less.
And then the other thing was, they all the way out in the moon, and you know, Richard Nixon talked to them on the phone.
Dang,
because we know. We know AT&T strong, bro.
But that's strong.
You know what I'm saying?
They got that Verizon.
And you can't, and they couldn't even ride through the forest in the movie and keep the signal on Friends, but you could talk to the moon in the 70s though.
Laid back in the
crib.
But
yeah, what do I know?
Hey, that's neither here nor there, huh?
But NASA in Hebrew means to deceive.
Yep.
If you look up the word NASA in Hebrew, NASA, it means to deceive.
That is a fact.
Right? And the red part in NASA is actually a T. So NASA actually is an anagram for the word Satan. Because it's NASA, and then you got the T in there, and you put that in there, then you move the letters around, you know, and you got that. So lot of devil, you know, references up in the film, you know, and Rose, you know, Rose Akrushin, she represents nature because she's the rose, you know, she wasn't as she wasn't as wise, but she was the most wise
Yes,
out
she
of all
was.
of them because she's the one that found the house.
She was wise enough.
And the house that she found was called the name of the people that stayed there. Their last
Yep.
name was Thorns.
Yeah.
So we already know about
You
the
gotta
Crown
see
of
that.
Thorns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Or we can even talk about spike proteins
Mm,
and COVID.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So we got the Crown of Thorns going on, and then with the house itself, it had a red door, and the symbolism of red doors in film represents like Exodus, when they would have to put the blood,
Passover.
Passover,
That's right.
put the blood over the door, so that demon, that entity, that energy that was coming through, taking all of the children's lives,
It's gonna pass
right,
over.
would pass over.
That's right.
You know, so that's what she was doing. She was trying to avoid that death. And it's funny because who was the firstborn in their family? Archie, and you saw he was
He
dying.
was taken. Come on
Yeah,
now.
he was dying.
Come on, KT.